If you've been trading for months, maybe even years, and you still feel lost, this is why. You don't need another strategy. You don't need more discipline. What you're missing is something far more important. And by the end of this video, you're going to realize the one thing that's been silently keeping you stuck, no matter how hard you've been trying. Let me describe your situation. You have strategies, a few setups you kinda trust, indicators you've turned on and off so many times you've lost count. You've watched videos, taken notes, maybe even bought a course or two. You understand terms like structure, liquidity, supply and demand. From the outside, you look like you know what you're doing. But when you sit down to trade, it feels different. Some days you're disciplined, patient, clean. Other days, you're impulsive. You overtrade, you revenge trade. And deep down, you know something uncomfortable. You're not really executing a system. You're guessing from a random basket of ideas. That's why trading feels random, not because the market is chaotic, but because your thinking is. This is where most traders get stuck. Not beginners, but the ones who are close. You've had winning streaks before, maybe even passed a funded account at some point. You've seen what's possible, but you can't sustain it. One week, everything clicks. The next week, it all falls apart. And it feels like you're constantly rebuilding yourself over and over again. This is what I call trading purgatory, the place where you're not clueless, but you're not consistent either. And the worst part, from the outside, it looks like you're just one step away. But from the inside, it feels like chaos. And here's the truth most people won't tell you. If nothing changes, you can stay in this loop for years. Now hear this. There was a trader who knew everything. Not literally everything, but enough to sound like a professional. He understood market structure. He could explain supply and demand. He knew multiple strategies. If you asked him questions, he had answers. But his account told a different story. He would have weeks where he was up, confident, focused. Then suddenly, a few losses. Then more. Then frustration. And before he knew it, he had given everything back. So what did he do? He assumed the problem was his strategy, so he searched for another one. New system, new rules, new hope. For 2 weeks, it worked. Then it didn't. So he repeated the cycle, again and again and again, until one day he had a realization that changed everything. He wasn't failing because his strategies didn't work. He was failing because every trade he took came from a different belief system. One trade was based on structure, another on indicators, another on emotion. He wasn't trading, he was reacting. And in that moment, he stopped asking, what strategy works, and started asking, what is actually happening in the market right now? That question changed everything. Most traders think their problem is discipline. It's not. Discipline applied to confusion just creates frustration. Think about it like this. If you follow a bad map perfectly, you will still end up lost. That's exactly what most traders are doing. You're trying to be disciplined while operating from a broken or incomplete understanding. You have one strategy for trending markets, another for ranging markets, another for news, but there's no single logic connecting them. So your brain is constantly switching frameworks, and that is exhausting. That's why your confidence collapses when the market shifts. Because deep down, you don't trust the foundation you're operating from. So what do most traders do? They look for another strategy, another video, another mentor, another PDF. And for a short time, it feels like progress, because hope feels like progress. But then reality hits. The strategy works sometimes, fails other times, and you're back where you started. Here's the difference. Amateur traders follow setups. Professional traders read the market. They ask different questions. What is the market reacting to? Who is in control right now? Where's the path of least resistance? What would prove me wrong? Their entries are just expressions of that understanding. But if you don't have that understanding, your entries are just rules you're trying to obey. And rules without understanding always feel fragile. Everything changes when you realize this. You don't need more strategies. You need one way of thinking, a single framework, not because it's perfect, but because it's consistent. This is the shift from collecting to operating, from am I doing the right thing to given my framework, this is the correct decision, win or lose. And that shift is everything. Because once you trust your framework, losses stop shaking you. Drawdowns stop breaking you. You stop outsourcing your confidence to your last trade result. You finally become stable. So what does this actually look like? There are 4 core pieces. First, contextual reading. Instead of reacting to candles, you start asking, what is price actually responding to? Second, narrative building. What matters right now? Not everything matters. You learn to filter noise. Third, scenario thinking. Not prediction, preparation. If this happens, I do this. If that happens, I step aside. Fourth, execution clarity. No rushing, no forcing, just calm, objective decisions. And here's what you need to do starting today. Strip your charts down, pick one framework, and commit to understanding it deeply. Journal your trades, not based on outcomes, but based on logic. Stop asking, did I win? Start asking, did this make sense? When you do this, everything simplifies. You stop needing 15 indicators. You stop overtrading because you finally recognize what's worth trading and what's not. Your mind becomes calmer. Your decisions become clearer. And losses, they stop feeling personal. They become feedback. That's when growth accelerates. Let's make this clear. A strategy tells you what to do in one specific situation. A framework teaches you how to think in every situation. A strategy is like memorizing phrases. A framework is like learning a language. One is rigid, the other adapts. And trading requires adaptation. This is for you if you're tired of jumping from strategy to strategy, you feel scattered when you trade, you've put in the time but don't see consistent results. But this is not for you if you're looking for shortcuts, if you want signals, if you're not willing to unlearn bad habits, because this requires thinking. The biggest loss in trading is not money, it's time. Years of being stuck in the same loop, learning, testing, failing, restarting, feeling close but never arriving. If you don't change the way you think, you just get better at surviving frustration. But here's the truth. You're not far. You're not broken. You're just fragmented. And the moment your thinking becomes aligned, everything changes. Clarity is what turns effort into results. So let me ask you, are you trading one system or a mix of everything? Be honest. Drop a comment below clarity if this video opened your eyes. And remember this, you don't need more strategies. You need one way of thinking. Master that, and the market will finally make sense.